In this bulletin, COVID-19 cases are up again. New Coro cluster worries authority. And over 200,000 Fijians have received their first jab. Good afternoon. There are 160 new cases of COVID-19 as of last night, with one death at the Colonial War Memorial Hospital. The new cases represent a new daily record, having broken the previous high of 105 cases in the last 2 days. Permanent Secretary for Health Dr. James Fong says of the 160 new cases, 93 are connected to existing clusters. These include 24 from the Nasinu Police Barracks, 14 from CWM, 10 from Vunimono in Osori, 10 from Reservoir Road in Suva, 8 from Tramline in Awakanandi, and 5 from Sakotha. In addition, 7 cases are from the Umbati in Nasinu, 3 from Wailana Osori, 3 from the Navy cluster, 2 from Nawachikuma in Awakanandi, 2 from Grantham Road in Suva, and 1 each from Wanikoso, Navosai, and Nakasi. 13 of these cases are under investigation to determine whether they have links to other cases, while 3 have been identified as primary contacts of earlier cases, and response teams are determining the cluster link. Dr. Fong confirms 32 people have recovered, which means there are now 943 active cases in isolation. 5 people have now died from COVID-19 following the death of a 73-year-old patient at the Colonial War Memorial Hospital in Suva on Monday. PS Dr. James Fong says the deceased tested positive 12 days ago, but had been admitted at CWM for almost a month. He was diagnosed with a severe non-COVID illness and his prognosis was poor. However, Dr. Fong says this has been classified as a COVID death. This is the 3rd death under the current outbreak. The Health Ministry has extended its condolences to the family of the deceased. 7 COVID-19 positive patients have died from non-COVID related illnesses. The detection of a new cluster in the Coro area outside the containment zones is a cause of concern. Dr. James Fong says the 4 cases detected in Coro Tailevu are under investigation. Early investigations have revealed that one is a driver that was recruited into the Coro COVID-19 response team. The other 3 cases are primary contacts of this driver, a relative, and other members of the response team. Investigations are ongoing into how these cases contracted the virus, and the subdivisional medical team are working to contain this new cluster. Yesterday, a total of 4,355 first doses and 730 second doses of the COVID-19 AstraZeneca vaccine were administered nationally. The Ministry of Health says this brings the total number of first dose vaccinations to date to 242,721 and 6,224 second doses into the arm of Fijians. Nationally, 41% of the target population of people aged 18 and over have received the first dose of the vaccine. The ministry says 42% have received the first dose in the Central Division, 56% in the Western Division, 12% in the Eastern Division, and 12% in the Northern Division. Recruiting final year medical students during this outbreak is an option that the Ministry of Health is considering. Permanent Secretary Dr. James Fong told FBC News that this is a possible decision considering the way the outbreak is escalating. Fiji Medical Association President Dr. Basharat Munshi has praised this approach and says that recruiting these students will help in cushioning the blow of the outbreak on the public health system.
Well, when the situation calls for all hands on deck, then we must go for all hands on deck, and that is a good strategy because obviously these medical students have, through our 2 medical schools, they get a lot of clinical exposure in hospitals, how to deal with public health issues such as this.
Many working mothers are still finding it difficult to adapt to the new work-from-home environment. For some, it comes with new challenges, including maintaining productivity levels, headspace, and avoiding distraction. Graduate Women President Rona Pastorizo Sekiguchi says work-life balance struggles could intensify as we learn to adapt to the new normal.
Setting aside some time, very busy with their own children, their own work that they're trying to juggle, homeschooling, everything, families and whatnot. But they're always reaching out in our groups.
Up ahead, full vaccination for Team Fiji. Welcome back. A few Team Fiji athletes and officials were at Tumi Hospital this morning to get their second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Team Fiji athletes and staff will be fully vaccinated before they leave for the Tokyo Olympic Games next month. Fiji Association of Sports and National Olympic Committee Chief Executive Lorraine Ma has confirmed to FBC News that all the athletes, whether in the country or out, will have to go through their second dose before arriving into Japan.
All the admin and some who are here who had the first vaccination, because most of the athletes are in Australia, some of them are there, well, the bulk of them, and they will get their vaccination in Australia before arriving back in Fiji.
New Zealand has finalized its men's and women's squads for the Oceania Sevens next week to play Fiji and Australia. Both teams have named an 18-member traveling squad, which will be trimmed to 13 for the Olympics. World champions France started their Euro 2020 campaign with a 1-0 win over Germany today. It was all thanks to Mats Hummel's own goal in a high-quality heavyweight Group F match. It was another milestone achievement for Portugal's Cristiano Ronaldo, becoming the all-time highest goal scorer in Euros history, scoring a brace of goals in their 3-0 win over the resilient Hungary side this morning. The 36-year-old is now 4 goals away from the all-time record top scorer in football history. A weak trough of low pressure lies slow moving to the north of Fiji and expected to gradually drift south towards the group. Associated cloud and showers is expected to affect the northern and eastern parts of the group till later tomorrow. That's FBC News Now. Join us for a 1-hour major bulletin at 7 p.m. and be sure to download the FBC app to access the latest in news, sports, and live radio broadcasts from any of our 6 FBC radio stations. Stay safe and good afternoon.